Hey everyone, Michael Anthony here. Van Halen, Chickenfoot, Sammy in the Circle. But anyway, you're listening to the only podcast that is dedicated to breaking down the entire Van Halen catalog one track at a time. And the podcast will rock. Ow!
Hello, baby!
Welcome, one and all you rockers, rockettes, and everything in between. We're all inclusive here. Welcome back to a new edition of And the Podcast Will Rock. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Oh, it's been a week. I'm just going to say it right off the top, but we appreciate you stopping by and giving us a listen, a quick listen, or, judgment, whatever it is. We appreciate the input. If it's your first time joining us on the show, where you been? We're like nearly there. We're nearly at the finish line. You're so late. You've got so much to catch up on. But just to entice you, we are the show that dives into the catalog and discography of one of the greatest rock and roll bands of all time, Van Halen. And we do it one track at a time. I'm sorry I'm laughing. My cat made me laugh. There you go. I am your co-host, Mark Kameyer. With me, as always, Corey Morissette. Corey, at least Kitty Van Halen is not causing you to have bloopers on the show.
No, not since the first week. And remember, we're not supposed to bring up cats. One of the YouTube comment, I don't care about cats. Fuck cats. Well, guess what? We have cats. We like talking about cats. Go eat a bag of
exactly.
dicks.
And seeing as how I didn't see that comment because I don't read the YouTube comments. Sorry, but I don't read them. It doesn't exist to me. So there you go.
I should say,
talking about my cats.
If anyone on there leaves nice comments, thank you. We don't see them because we just know not to, go down that road. Maybe drop us a line, podcastwillrock@gmail.com or on Twitter or something like that. But Mark, you said rockers and rockettes. We actually have a rockette here tonight.
We do. It's a little early for Christmas, but hey, what do you say? It's fine. We can get down with the holidays early, but no, Corey is referring to a fan favorite and exceptional honoree panelist to the show as well. Kelsey Van Halen has rejoined us on the desk. What's up, Kelsey?
Hi, excited to be here as always. Thank you for letting me join. I'm always thrilled to be here, so I can't wait.
Well, and
we're always thrilled to have you too. Go ahead, Corey.
There's an opportunity. She might be on next week as well because I said she asked, "Do you have anybody booked for the show this week?" I'm like, "Well, it's our patron show, so we invite all the patrons, but." I'm sure being an honorary panelist and patron, well, you can come on. And then we have next week open too. She said, I'll do both. So there you go.
Yeah, I'll be here.
Hell yeah. Look at that.
As long as I'm invited.
You're always invited. And also Kevin's here. I guess we should maybe say that.
Well, I was gonna give him a grand introduction because I was gonna say we're always thrilled to have guests join us on the show.
Don't make his head any bigger. No.
But usually Corey's not so thrilled when this next guest comes around. I don't know why. I'm thrilled to have the wonderful, amazing Kevin Brown join us.
Yes, I love Kevin. Welcome. Hey, Kevin, thank you.
I'm in an abusive relationship. That's what's going on here. I keep coming back and I just keep taking it from this guy. I don't know why.
You're starting to dish it out a little bit now, though, which is a lot more fun. That's good.
Don't worry. He's
a pleasure to be back, boys. A pleasure to be back.
Pleasure to have you, Corey. I think Kevin is very silently and patiently plotting his revenge against you. So
it's already happened 3 times over. But in all seriousness, of course, Kevin's one of my good buddies. We do a podcast together. Any chance I can hop on a call with Kevin is a good fucking time. So I kind of guilted him tonight. I'm like, please, Kevin, I know you're editing, but if you can, just take like a little break for an hour and come on the show. We only got 8 tracks left of the Van Halen catalog, and so he was nice enough to join us here tonight. So thank you very much, Mr. Brown.
I better not get Josephina. I'm just telling you now.
Well, don't bury the lead because we haven't gotten to the M word yet that I won't say. Don't invoke the name. Not yet. Anyway, we'll get there. We'll get there.
I'll leave. That's crazy. I gotta go.
It's like, suddenly she's like, no, I forgot. I had another shift at work to do. Yeah. But no, we're not going to think about that yet. Instead, what we're going to think about is what Corey just mentioned, and that's the fact that there are 8 songs left. There's eight left in the catalog of Van Halen. It doesn't seem real, and it doesn't seem like we've been on the air that long. And to me, it doesn't feel like it's been that long. But here we are. The journey is nearing its completion, at least in this phase. But I'm trying to, even though I mention it on the show all the time, I'm still not believing that it's a real thing, because it's almost like leaving summer camp and you're like, how am I supposed to go back to my regular life after I just, had the time of my life doing all this? Like, what do we do now? How do things get back to normal? Well, we'll figure that out. We're working on it. But speaking of feeling like things are normal, what do you say we do the things we normally do on the show, and we throw it on over to Corey and to tell us what's going on the Van Halen news desk.
All right. Well, we got a couple of new articles on the Van Halen news desk that everybody should go check out. Of course, www.vhnd.com, including Van Halen 2, which is a show we just ranked not that long ago. Had its anniversary on March 23rd, 45th anniversary of Van Halen 2, my personal favorite Van Halen record. I know it's very up there for my buddy Mark too. On the In the Studio show, they do a whole big thing on Van Halen 2. You should check that out. And a nice little sound clip from Billy Sheehan, of course, a bass player from the David Lee Roth band from the Eat 'em and Smile era, talking about who Roth's initial choice was for guitar before Steve Vai. I'm sure everybody in the chat right now is going to be screaming who that is. There was another Steve on Dave's mind, though. Let's poll the panelists and see if you can name who that Steve is that David Lee Roth wanted for the Eat 'em and Smile band. Let's start with Kevin Brown. Who do you think? You're muted. You're muted. How do you not know how to do this yet? Jesus Christ.
All right. Fucking hell. I'm not telling you now. You can go for yourself.
He's like, he had his guess, so he had to do his lips.
No, I would say that probably Dave was going to surprise everyone and go on a bluegrass jag, and it was Steve Earle who was going to bring in as his guitarist.
One vote, Steve Earle. I don't mind that choice. Kelsey, who's furiously Googling right now. Do you know?
Hey, easy. I didn't know you were a snitch, Corey.
No.
That's crazy.
Damn.
Honestly, well, I was like thinking about it. I was like, I have no idea. I'm not even going to lie. I have no clue because
I don't know.
Yeah, I could not tell you because I was trying to think about it, but no, I have no idea.
Well, Scott Everett's already got in the chat. I'm not bringing it up, though, until Mark guesses. Mark?
Steve Perry. No, he's a singer.
Yeah. Steve Perry.
He'd go crazy on guitar.
I actually think I know it, but the name's not coming to mind. So once you say it, I'll either be like, oh, yeah, of course, duh. Or I'll go, nope, that wasn't my guess. So go ahead and enlighten us, Corey.
All right. Well, it's Steve Winwood. No, it's not Steve Winwood.
Damn it.
Steve Stevens. But David Lee Roth could
Billy
not.
Idol.
Yeah, he could not pry him away from Billy Idol. So Steve Stevens was David Lee Roth's first choice for the Eat 'em and Smile band. Good job, Scott Everett.
Would have gone crazy.
That would have been really cool. That would have been good.
That'd have been great.
However, I think Billy probably made the right decision. It's like, no, don't go over there.
Well, Dave did, exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah, after Billy made the right choice. I got a good thing going to Billy Idol. I don't want to fuck that up. But I think Steve Vai is a pretty good consolation prize, probably.
I mean, yeah.
And what a great album that is. I can't wait till we get into the next version of the show and maybe we do a little Eat 'em and Smile. That's going to be fantastic.
Oh my God, Eat 'em and Smile.
Intense.
Oh my God. I want you to know I listened to, Loco de Color on the beach. Well, I was like, cause I just had to. I was like, there's no way I can't listen to this.
Where were you? It looked warm.
I was in Sarasota.
Oh, nice.
It was I got really lucky with the weather. And if you guys saw my tweet, I did listen to Beautiful Girls because absolutely I had to. But it was amazing. It was like 80 and sunny every day. I got burnt to shit, but other than that, it was great.
Well, here's a little tidbit from Josh in the chat.
That's a shame.
Apparently, Steve Stevens loaned his amps to Steve Vai for the recording. So
nice.
Fun fact.
Because Steve Vai apparently doesn't have enough amps.
I guess,
right.
Yeah. Hey, can I borrow an amp? I'm doing this record with David Lee Roth.
Maybe he's quite sophisticated that way. Maybe he's not like I don't have a garage full of amps because what am I going to do with that? He's just like, no. I've got like the one or two that I keep at home, that I like. It's my personal preferences. It's all good. I don't need to go any further than that. Maybe he's like that, or maybe that's wishful thinking.
Mark, how many guitars? You're a musician. How many guitarists have you ever met who isn't a gear hoarder? Come on. They're all.
This isn't about
collectors of
me.
crap.
This is about Steve Vai.
Collectors of crap. I'm going to tell Randy Woods you said that.
You tell that mother.
I noticed he's selling guitars on Facebook Marketplace. So, yeah, he's also a collector of crap, I'm assuming.
Selling his Fender Precision, yeah.
They all are.
They all are.
Yeah.
They all are. Well, we have one more story on the Van Halen News Desk, and for fans of 5150, you're going to like this, but it's Sammy Hagar and Michael Anthony discussing the creation of 5150. They've been putting out these little videos ever since they released the Volume 2 box set of vinyl. Really great stuff from Sammy and Michael. Of course, they're getting ready for the big Best of All Worlds tour. We talked about the potential set list last week, and we're getting closer. Kelsey, I'm sure you're going to be checking out that show, aren't you?
Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah, they come sometime in August to us. I'm really excited.
Mark is a definite maybe. I know I'm going to see him end of July in Toronto. I'm going to hook up with the Bogus Otis boys, and we're going to drink some Cabo Wabo and watch
Hell
Mikey
yeah.
and Sammy kill it that night on the lake. It's going to be great.
I'm gonna try my best. It's because I feel like it would be a disservice to myself and to our listeners if I was not present for that show.
And you got to wear your apologies to Gary shirt. I'm going to wear mine.
Exactly. Even though Gary will be nowhere in sight, but
Sam, you'll see it and go, "What the fuck is that?" Because you'll see the Van Halen print back.
Oh,
there.
see, yeah, I was just like, please ask me about the shirt. Ask me.
I did try getting Kevin Brown to come with me, but he's way too cheap.
Too cheap?
Yeah.
Again,
he's going to Rome. Going to Rome this year, but he wouldn't go to Toronto.
Well,
I got a trip to Rome, Italy for free.
Yeah, beat that, Corey.
I can't beat anything Kevin does.
Well, no need to have a competition.
Boy, that came out wrong. I don't want to beat anything on Kevin, I should say.
I was gonna let it. You should have just let me go with it, but you brought it back. There it is.
Someone's going to call it out somewhere. Scott Haskins in the chat. I'm sure he would have said something snarky.
Dude, what happens in the catalog clash stays in the catalog clash. We've talked about this.
To be a lurker in that room.
No, you don't want to. Nope. But talking about musicians who hoard, Tom Armbruster says, I have over 40 guitars and basses that I'm not even in a band.
There you go.
You're saving them for a rainy day, Tom. I get it. That's like every bassist in Nashville, so it's fine. You'll fit in well here.
All right, and that's everything on the Van Halen News Desk. Yeah, we can move on to
cool.
Your favorite part of the show. Oh, Scott Haskins getting snarky.
It's not my favorite part. Oh God. Well, which is insert snark. Yes,
yep.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
No, this part's not my favorite because usually I get burned pretty bad in this section of the show, but I do enjoy it, and especially when it seems like we're all collectively seeing eye to eye. And on the last show, we went over the track "Hang 'Em High." That's right, "Hang 'Em High." Some more Diver Down goodness, and the album that not so many fans of ours and listeners really appreciate. They seem to really hate it. For example, Kevin Brown, why do you hate Diver Down so much?
Yeah.
Don't hate Diver Down. I just don't like the covers. I think that the two, Dance in the Street and Pretty Woman, just for me, boys, the two.
So there you go. My point being that so many people hate Diver Down, and I just it's just unfounded. But we didn't cover a cover by Van Halen last week. We covered "Hang 'Em High," an original, a pretty rockin' original, and everyone seemed to think so with a 91.6% "What Dreams Are Made Of" rating versus an 8.4 "Dream Is Over." I am curious about that 8.4, but Corey. I'm never really shocked when the voting is high on a song, especially if it's part of the Roth era, because that just seems to be the way it goes. But this does come from Diver Down, and we've noticed something interesting about the Diver Down album in that while it's not, I won't say it's hated. I'll say while it's not everyone's favorite of the catalog, especially during the Roth era, there are a few gems that people really love, i.e. Little Guitars. Little Guitars is our highest, to this date, still highest rated Van Halen song that we have done on the show out of the whole catalog. And we've only got 8 songs left, but I don't know that there's any song left that's going to beat that rating. So whilst it might not be everyone's favorite, Diver Down does have a warm place in a lot of people's hearts, especially with some of their original singles. But are you surprised in the voting in this regard for "Hang 'Em High"?
Well, I'm not, because I love "Hang 'Em High." I thought this is my personal favorite track on the record. So I would have put it in the high, 91 percentile as well. But when you look at kind of the breakdown of Diver Down, it's really kind of up and down, right? We have Where Have All the Good Times Gone was 91%, Hang 'em High was 91%. Then, of course, Little Guitars at 98. And then we had Full Bug was 86. Secrets was 85. Then a couple of 70s. Pretty Woman and Happy Trails. So, and then the 62.3 for Dancing in the Streets. So, the highs are very high and the lows are very low on Diver Down when it comes to the David Lee Roth era, which is kind of interesting.
It is interesting. I don't fully understand it, but perhaps our voters can enlighten me. So I'm going to go to the poll right here underneath on Twitter with Rava Flav's going to start us off. Our friend Rava Flav says, thumbs up for me. A great song on a much derided album. Everyone in the band excels in this Van Halen interpretation of a spaghetti western. A quick Google search reveals that Ed's part is a very difficult one to play at 264 BPM. Great lyrics, vocals, drums, bass, harmonies. What's left? So he's very, very, Rava Flav, very, very keen on Hang 'em High, and based on what we heard and how we voted, can't fight it against him. So moving forward, Jeff Brewer, our boy Jeff Brewer, who always has something usually not so positive to say, says, not a magnificent album by Van Halen standards, but this original tune still demonstrates that Ed was still the most interesting man in the guitar world in 1982. Any other comments will be in Discord. So yeah, there you go. It's just like the most interesting man in the guitar world in 1982. I would up that into the most interesting man in the guitar world for about most of his guitar world existence.
A good 30 years anyway. Yeah, you got the 70s, 80s, 90s. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So those we had a lot of tweets, a lot of people giving their opinions there. But hey, if you want your tweet guaranteed read on the show, guess what? You got to head over to Patreon and find Podcast Will Rock over on Patreon. Join it, find a tier, and you get access to the Discord. And the Discord, that's where the conversations are always happening. That's where the real talks are going down. And you get your manifestos, as it were, guaranteed read on the show. So moving on over to Discord. Thank you again, Scott Monroe. He says, this spaghetti western rocker wasn't always a standout for me, as I too didn't care for David Lee Roth's delivery in the verses. That's a reference to how I was feeling about it. So thank you, Scott. But he says, it's grown on me as I've come to appreciate its complex musicality and the hidden gems of Diver Down. The intro and solo remain the highlights, and David Lee Roth's note holding in the chorus is a powerful match to Eddie Van Halen's frenetic playing. Like other Van Halen tracks, this one's a vibe for me. A great track to crank on the road with the windows down as the dust swirls and the sun goes low on the horizon. Hashtag what dreams are made of. Very eloquent, very nicely put. Thank you, Scott. All right, and Chad. Old Chad says, Hang 'em High is what dreams are made of. This song is an excellent representation of why this album is so damn good. Great music, great energy, and great lyrics, even if we can't agree on what they actually are. It's true. I think we can just resolve that this one is a Clint Eastwood spaghetti western type of deal. That's fine. I'm totally cool with just leaving it at that. Brad Gould. Brad says, hashtag what dreams are made of. This song is an absolute shredder. Alex and Ed are just locked in, giving us a prime example of why they are such a powerful musical duo. David's lyrics are understated and a little bit difficult to hear, but have an atypical, for the band, Western story. Mike Spaces, I don't know what you're trying to say right here. Something about Mike comes out at times, but generally provides a nice bottom layer and depth to the song overall. You're being very positive on Mikey, and I'll just leave it at that. But I think there's either a word or two that's missing from that sentence. It's fine, Brad. We're good. But thank you. Jeff Brewer again says, just what dreams are made of. I want to say more, but I'm keeping score at a baseball game right now. No time. Thank you for at least putting that in what you're doing in that given moment. Thanks, Jeff. And then some Asshole named Kevin Brown says, scorching intro, rock solid instrumentation throughout. One thing I don't love is how limp the vocal is mixed in a few places. Oh, okay. It loses a lot of punch, yes. Along with little guitars, infuriating that this is what Diver Down could and should have been instead of we got a couple of hurriedly recorded covers, yada, 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 blah, 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 hashtag what dreams are made of. No, you're right.
Wow. Wow,
bad,
I'm right
bad.
here.
Okay. My bad. Okay.
And I'm the
should
hater
have
of
been,
Kevin.
and instead we got a couple of hurriedly recorded covers instead of this kind of dynamite. My favorite is the big stop before the refrain of the intro and the mini solo. Hashtag what dreams are made of. There you go. So
we get it, Kevin. You don't like the Kinks. That's why you don't like Diver Down. It's fine.
You take my band out of your fucking mouth.
There it is. Yeah, as I said, you guys, if you want your stuff guaranteed read on the show, a lot of you contribute comments, tweets, what have you, and I would love to read them on the air, but that's a guaranteed privilege for the patrons. So get on over to the Patreon, join a tier. I guarantee you we got one that's right for you, and if we don't, let us know what you'd like, and I'm sure Corey and I can accommodate. You're gonna have to join the Patreon sooner rather than later because, you know, that's where all the future possible bigger shows might be happening. So just keep your ears peeled and keep them listening and be ready for that. Corey,
do we have time for one more mini festo because she's on the panel and because she's pretty?
Yes,
maybe let's ask Kelsey. Kelsey, what are your thoughts on Hang 'Em High?
Not one of my favorites. I'm also not a big Diver Down girl. I do love Full Bug is one of my favorite songs. Secrets is one of my favorite songs. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of agree with Kev and pretty much everyone talking about the lyrics. You know, it's Dave. So I love Dave, everything about Dave, but sometimes he be saying some stuff and I'm like, yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, no, it's I mean, I'm rereading Eddie's book right now, and he talks about how Diver Down, how like they weren't gonna record, and then they put out, I think it was Pretty Woman, and they were like, "Oh my God, you need to put an album out." So it kind of breaks my heart that like I said, I'm also not a big Diver Down girl, so it could have been such a good album, and it is a good album, but like there's so much more potential, especially with like the song and the ones that I named. Like we could have had a killer lineup of all original songs, which is what Eddie wanted, but it wasn't in the cards. So yeah, I mean, it's not a bad one. It's not one of my favorites, but you know, could have been better.
Could have been better. That is not a glowing review, but it's fine.
It's not on my like, I have like a whole Van Halen playlist and it's not on there. So if that tells you guys anything about how I feel about that song.
That's totally fair. I would probably agree with that. And I really dug the song, but it's a testament to Van Halen's ability to crank out so many bangers,
right?
That, you know, it's like some of the other ones that maybe don't get a lot of love are still going to be left to the wayside because they're just so damn good at cranking out really good tunes. So no worries. That's fair. I appreciate that assessment. You know what else I appreciate? All of you, and all of you want to do one thing that's our favorite thing in the world before spinning it. Say it with me. Take a shot. Manifestations. Woo!
Oh, Kevin, it's still dry March for you, isn't it? You got like 3 more days to go, buddy.
Still dry 2024. Yeah.
I thought it was just a month. You're doing the whole year now?
I'm doing the whole year. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's doing the whole year.
That's why you're no fun anymore. Jeez.
This was
damn, that's crazy.
This was my birthday month, so there was no chance I was gonna have a dry March.
Yes, happy belated birthday.
It is what I
very
appreciate
happy
it.
birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
It's serendipitous that we covered Van Halen 2 as it premiered on March 23rd. That's my birthday, by the way. Obviously, it came out well before me, but nevertheless. It's time for manifestations, you guys, and you're not gonna like what everyone's saying. That's all I'm gonna say. You're not gonna enjoy it because both Josh and Jeff Brewer and Scott Monroe they all wanted the same, and Tom agreed, all want the same thing. And I'm just gonna go with you. Josephina, Josephina is an atomic punk and a little dreamer who likes to take me back to Amsterdam when Big Bad Bill is feeling the aftershock of manifesting the trouble with Never. I see what Scott Monroe did there, and I really appreciate you for it. But you started off with Josephina, so I'm just going to assume that's the one you want to manifest. And then Tom said what Scott said. So all across the board so far, that's been Josephina. And I get it. You guys want us to rip off the Band-Aid known as Van Halen 3 because we have just that one song lingering. And you're doing this with the best intentions. I get it. Because we can't have the last show of this wheel be from that album. It just can't happen. It can't. I'm out of mulligans. So even if it did happen, I couldn't be like, nah, I'm pulling a fast one. Nope, we're not doing it. And like, nope, I can't. I'm out. So Corey, I have to ask, what are you going to manifest? Are you gonna combat this evil of Josephina manifestation? Because that's a lot of power. People are putting a lot of power behind this. What do you say to your manifestation?
Well, I definitely don't say Josephina. That's for sure. I'm kind of with you. Plus, we're also behind on live shows right now. We're going to be doing the next live show actually in a couple of weeks' time, mid-April here.
Yeah. On
a Friday night, we're going to be doing For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. Then we got 5150 1984 to do after that as well. So I don't want to finish off another record here. So you're looking at what do we have multiples of? I'll bring up the wheel here for everybody, and we have
not many.
we have 3 tracks from Balance out of the 8 that are left. 1 left from Diver Down, 1 from Van Halen 3, 2 from Van Halen 1, and 1 from A Different Kind of Truth. So I'm going to pick a Balance track, and I'm thinking, why not Aftershock? We got to save Amsterdam for when Christie's around. And Take Me Back, Deja Vu. I can maybe go that route, but I don't know. For some reason, I'll go Aftershock. Let's try that.
Aftershock it is. Kevin Brown, are you going to contribute to the evil or are you going to combat it?
I'm not contributing to the evil. I'm here. I don't want to talk about that song, but you know what? It would get it off the wheel for you guys, and I think that's what people are manifesting it for. No, I want Balance as well. I mean, I love that album, and I'll go Take Me Back because I think that's a song that doesn't get a lot of love. And I think it'll be interesting to talk about. It'll be fun.
All right. Ooh, 2 for Take Me Back. The combative powers are rising. Kelsey, you jumped on the show. Here you are. I don't know if what we have left is something you specifically want to talk about. However, with what we do have, what would you like to manifest?
Little Dreamer has always been one of my favorites. It was one of my very first favorites when I started listening to Van Halen. So I would love to talk about that song. So I'll go with that one.
All right.
So we got the power, 2 powers of Balance, and Van Halen 1 to combat the Josephina. Ugh. So now it is up to me. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Actually, I too am going to go. Nope. I changed my mind. Sorry, guys. This is what I'm doing. Atomic Punk. That's what I'd like. There we go.
Tell you what, there is quite a movement in the Discord server to maybe save Atomic Punk for the very last show. But
that is true.
Yeah.
So there's definitely no guarantee that we spin it. Yeah, and we've heard that about Atomic Punk. We've heard that for Amsterdam, just for the sake of getting Christie's input for however minimal, because she, by her own admission, she just likes to watch the chaos. But yeah, it just wouldn't feel right to manifest it and land on it, and she's not here. But something before we move on, Corey, I'm looking at this list here. None of the songs that I had imagined in my brain that could potentially be the last few that we spin are on this are on the left on the wheel. Are any of the ones you thought about?
I didn't really think about a last song, to be honest with you. We had such a huge catalog in front of us. I didn't think that far ahead, but now that we have these 8, I can see there being a case for Atomic Punk. We started with a Van Halen 1 song.
That's true. Yeah.
And we did the very first track. We did Running with the Devil. So do we say? And Scott already in the chat here is take Atomic Punk off the wheel. Damn it! Seconded by Terry Rumbuster. They want us to finish on Atomic Punk. The only other one I thought of that might be kind of apropos is Take Me Back, Deja Vu, because it's kind of a retrospective song and it's the last song. I don't know. But nothing else on here. No, we always joke like, "Oh, Jump would be great." That's their number one hit, right? But we covered Jump on a live show many moons ago. So
We did. And then for a while, it was looking like perhaps maybe a track like Humans Being was going to keep eluding us because every time we manifested it, just nothing. So like, well, that would be, it would make my heart happy because I adore that song. But nope, all the ones I might have guessed that would be left on the wheel for us to cover, they're all gone. So this is just anybody's game. It's roulette, as it were. But speaking of roulette, what do you say we spin this thing? Let's we got 4 people on the panel and our lurkers.
Oh yeah, I should count lurkers, shouldn't I? How many folks do we have?
You should, yeah. How many lurkers we got?
Oh, if it's more than 10, he's gonna have to take his shoes and socks off.
This might take me a while. No, it's actually 7.
Oh, I was supposed to say, like, oh wow, we have that many lurkers.
No,
7. So a magical 11.
It seems like every week I'm doing 11.
These go to 11.
Maybe do 12. See what happens then.
11.
That might be
12.
That might be. I might have sealed our. Yeah, that might have sealed our fate with that one. But something about 11 just wasn't sticking right with me. So
right.
Watch, we're gonna get it now.
Fingers crossed.
Don't. Nope.
Here we go.
Here we go. We're
going to finish off Diver Down instead. And this is one that our good friend Sean McGinnity has been manifesting for quite a while. Big Bad Bill is Sweet William Now.
I just heard a wild Sean McGinnity from the Great White North just howl in great surprise.
Very happy with that one, I'm sure. Yeah.
And, well, that's there, as you said, there's the last one from Diver Down. So that's another album we have to talk
That's
about.
4 now.
So
Yeah.
add it to the list, you guys. Well, hey, that's great. That just means you guys.
Then
nobody did, except for Sean, who is way out there. Yeah, good on you, Sean. But yeah, so there you go. We got plenty of live shows left to go. So though the wheel is coming down, we are not done. We've got plenty of show left to do. So don't be discouraged, everybody, unless you're just not a fan of Big Bad Bill. Kevin, do you have any without showing your hand or anything? You got any little anecdotes or anything to say about Big Bad Bill before we launch into it?
Well, my friend who got me into Van Halen, we definitely had all the albums, and I heard Diver Down plenty. And I remember this song very vividly because it doesn't sound like Van Halen, right? It's not got all the trademark characteristic flourishes anywhere really on it. So it's an interesting one. It's one of those little curios in the catalog and I usually like those types of songs where they're very abstract, very different to the artist's, normal stuff. So I'll kind of leave it there and say that I think it's probably good enough.
That could be very interesting to our listeners because sometimes they're on board for a different sort of Van Halen song and sometimes not so much. So, Kelsey, right to you. Anything to say before we launch into it?
Again, I'm not a big Diver Down girl, but I mean, I don't hate this song, but I probably couldn't tell you the last time I listened to it. So that tells you enough.
Well, there you go. Well, the wheel has determined that you just haven't listened to Diver Down enough. It's time.
I guess.
So the wheel is a fickle bitch sometimes that way. Corey, how about yourself?
Well, I was trying to trace the history of this song back because it's a cover. Apparently it goes all the way back to 1924. The same writing team that brought us such classics as Happy Days Are Here Again and Ain't She Sweet. Billy Murray and Margaret Young. Dave brought this to the group. Dave has eclectic taste, as we all know. But Van Halen was kind of able to Van Halenize it, and the fact that their dad plays clarinet on the song was always kind of special to him. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to this one. It could have been worse. I think we can all agree on that.
It definitely could have been worse. I was not ready for the other one. So as much as I love you guys out there, and as much as I don't want to downgrade your manifestation powers, I'm glad you did not succeed. Because I'm just not mentally ready to deal with that right now.
No, just wait. I'll come next week and it'll happen.
Yep, that'll be the week.
I mean, probably like it's bound to happen. Look, the thing is, though, ironically, as much as I don't want to talk about that song, I don't want it to be the last one that we go out on either. So prepare thyself.
That's
Anywho,
right. But before
ready,
that,
Corey? Let's do this.
I am ready. Let's go all the way back to 1982 and Diver Down. This is a little song called Big Bad Bill is Sweet William Now.
Wait, Corey. Sorry. I think your audio got mixed up. We're not watching a Pixar movie right now.
No?
We're trying to do the show, and
Sorry.
I asked for a Van Halen song.
Yeah, well, this is the Van Halen song you got.
Oh, I see. They featured Van Halen in a Pixar movie. Awesome. Cool.
I thought I was watching the beginning
Pixar.
up there for a minute, but yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
definitely
well,
putting- I'm definitely putting Van Pixar into the AI.
Van
machine later
Pixar,
on
there we
tonight.
go.
Well, you better.
Please share that with the Discord group, what the AI comes up with for Van
I most
Pixar.
certainly
Oh
will.
my God, that's going to be
Oh,
something.
God.
So everybody was happy and bopping along. Everyone loves this song, I'm assuming. We got classic Eddie Van Halen guitar pyrotechnics, and Alex is killing around the drums, right? And yeah,
I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
like
not
it's
so
it's
much.
it's like they haven't missed a step.
but that clarinet, that was pretty good.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I don't think Alex ever plays with brushes anywhere else on the discography.
I can't think of
It
one. no.
might be the only time, right? And it again, brushes is a different technique. It sounds good, man. It's a nice little shuffle.
It's a good
groove.
shuffle. Yeah.
I do feel bad though, Kelsey, because really, if you listen to this song, it's not one that you can wear a bikini on the beach. You've got to wear a corset and really uncomfortable
No.
shoes.
That's going to be
Roaring
quite the
20s,
photo
you've got to
shoot.
go
What am I
hair's
supposed to
gotta
do?
Look forward for that on Kelsey's Instagram with the big corset on. And
Don't tempt me.
There it is. The seed has been planted.
Here's a great comment, though, from Scott Everett. I wish there was a video of Al and Ed watching their dad play. I bet they were freaking happy. Absolutely,
Oh,
yeah. But the fact that they were kind of able to, I don't want to even really say make it their own, because it's pretty true to the original. Like it sounds like it comes from 1924.
Yeah.
But this is the kind
Like
of
it
stuff
almost
they grew
sounds
up
like a
on, so.
mistake. Like it's like, whoops, we didn't mean to put that on the album. But it's like, no, that's us. Like, oh, okay.
Well, let's keep it going, Mark, and see if they get you back here.
Well, way down yonder in Louisville lived a cat named Big Bad Bill. I wants to tell you how the cat was rough and tough. He could shred his stuff. Had the whole town scared to death. When he walked by, they all held their breath. He's a fighting man, sure enough. And then Bill got himself a wife. Now he leads a different life. Big Bad Bill is Sweet William now.
All right. Well, I found some quotes from the band on this track here. Dave says, "Quote: I think it's a great song, and there has been this thread winding its way through all of Van Halen's music and all of our albums since beginning with Ice Cream Man. I played acoustic guitar in songs like this for quite a while before I ever joined Van Halen. It's music. Why do I have to bang my head to every single song and every single album? I don't think the audience has that much lack of creativity or imagination."
You'd be surprised. I've been to many a metal show, and you'd be surprised how many of them just want the same shit the entire
Yeah.
show.
It'll be an interesting one this to see because I think one of the DLR camp, the hardcore DLR camp, Dave the Grave guys, will always say that it's not my Van Halen. And I'm wondering if this is going to be their Van Halen, because this is very different to the hyper boogie and the the sort of the overt sexuality of the Roth era. So I'll be kind of curious to see what some of those comments come back as. I think, man, that clarinet, Van Halen's a great musician.
And was he missing
Superb.
like
I love
fingers
it.
and teeth when he performed this? Like,
Yeah, fingers and teeth. That's
Yeah.
it.
That's going to be the name of me and Corey's punk band.
that's right. I found
Just
a great
do,
quote from Eddie here. Sorry, Mark. You
Go
want to
ahead, go ahead.
Okay. Eddie Van Halen said, "Quote: It was Dave's idea to do Big Bad Bill. He bought himself one of those Sanyo Walkman type things with the FM AM radio, and he record off the radio if you like something you hear. He was up in his bedroom at his father's house, and he found that if he stood at a certain spot and pointed his antenna a certain way, he picked up this weird radio station in Louisville, Kentucky. He recorded Big Bad Bill and played it to us, and we started laughing ourselves silly and going, 'That's bad. Let's do it.' Dave suggested, 'Hey, we can get your old man to play the clarinet.' And we said, 'Sure.'"
And there he
There
goes.
you
Look,
go.
hey, I'm not gonna knock that, because when I was a lad and I had a little portable stereo with the antenna, I did that too.
Yeah.
It's like what stations can I find with this thing? And I found like a local college station that was playing songs the radio wouldn't touch, and that's was kind of a gateway drug. So I really dig that story. That's kind of cool. But I can understand the boys' feeling about it, going like, that's really stupid. Okay, sure, let's do it, because that sounds like a really dumb idea, and why not? Sometimes the best ideas are on the surface really stupid sounding.
Scott Monroe says Big Bad Bill coming soon on the Toy Story 5 soundtrack. Yeah, probably. Tom goes, okay, but what if the clarinet part was Eddie playing guitar?
He's like using like a clarinet effect pedal. That would be cool.
Scott Monroe says Dave's low raspy delivery is great. He should be doing that sort of thing more nowadays. Absolutely. That's kind of his wheelhouse nowadays.
That's kind of how he sounds nowadays. So yeah, sure.
Yeah. Get off YouTube. Fucking,
quit dancing.
Yeah, quit dancing.
Or don't.
just stop saying words. How about that? Just stop.
All right, let's keep going.
Married life done changed him somehow. He's the man the town used to fear. Now they all call him Sweet Papa Willie dear. Stronger than Samson, I declare, till a brown-skinned woman's bobbed his hair. Big Bad Bill don't fight anymore. No, no, no. He's doing the dishes, mopping up that floor. Yes, he is. Well, he used to go out drinking, looking for a fight. Now I gotta see that sweet woman every night. Big Bad Bill is Sweet William now. I'll play, boy.
All right, I will say it is kind of cool. Like Eddie's playing a Gibson hollow body on this. Mike's doing the big, large acoustic bass thing. Alex is playing with brushes, like Kevin astutely pointed out. So they're doing something kind of different. And like Kevin, it's a decent enough shuffle. Is it what Van Halen fans are looking for when they pop in their cassette of Diver Down in 1982? Fuck no. But
likely not, unless they are just like big, like vaudevillian sort of fans of that kind of.
God, I hope there's a Judy Garland cover on this Van Halen record they screened in the night.
Look, man, if they could pull off a Judy Garland cover.
This is a Judy Garland cover. Judy Garland played Big Bad Bill back in the day.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, so hey, yeah, if they can pull it off, then why not?
Why not?
Judy Garland or whomever.
I wonder if
it's funny that it's a Judy Garland song, but like Dave's singing it like he's Louis Armstrong.
Well, he can't really do Judy Garland. He can do Louis Armstrong.
Well, few can do Garland, but
that's true.
But yeah, it's just like he's like, well, I can do this like weird Louis Armstrong Satchmo thing. How about I just do that? Like, sure, Dave. Whatever.
Hey, it's working for me. I think he sounds pretty good.
I think he sounds really good on this too. Like
he does.
It suits that theatrical side of him, right? I mean, except I have very fond memories of. I'm just old enough that the generation before me and the generation before that, I grew up kind of listening to a lot of music hall stuff. And you think about the Beatles, like McCartney used to do this kind of stuff, Rocky Raccoon and those kinds of things. He's got those temperaments about him. Why don't we
do it in the road?
So I've got an ear for this kind of stuff. I think it's a good groove. I like it, and I like his voice. I like the clarinet. I think it sounds good.
I was gonna say that's what I've been digging this whole time. I love when Dave sings like this. I think he sounds very sexy. So that's what I've been enjoying. I'm like, I think he sounds great.
Well, I found another quote from Eddie that I think sums it up. He says, quote, "It's so funny because I couldn't play the song for you right now. I had to read because there were so many chords I just couldn't remember it. There's my father to the left of me sitting on a chair with a music stand in front of him, and I'm sitting next to him with sheet music in a stand. Mike was there too, playing like an acoustic guitar bass, the kind they have in Mexican restaurants where they come up, play in front of your face and aggravate you. We had a great time. It looked like an old 30s or 40s session. I used some thick Gibson hollow body with F-holes. My father hadn't played in a long time because he had lost his left-hand middle finger about 10 years ago. He was nervous, and we told him, just have a good time. We make mistakes. That's what makes it real. I love what he did, but he was thinking back 10 years ago when he was smoking, playing jazz and stuff. He played exactly what we wanted."
Corey? So I was going to point out, Corey, F-holes, not what you think they are. Don't go there.
Good, because, yeah, I was worried. Explain F-holes for us then, Mr. Music Expert.
It's just a hole cut in the shape of an F.
Okay.
Very easy.
Thank you for that. It's good to have experts on the podcast.
Literally an F-hole.
Literally an F-hole. We have a young lady on the call. Let's not talk about F-holes, please.
You brought it up.
She's already a little Twitter-pated. She was listening to David Lee Roth singing in his wheelhouse there, so she already talked about him being all sexy. So let's just cool it down a little.
I'm already there.
All right, let's see if a little clarinet will just kind of diffuse the situation here for you. All right. I found the last quote I'll give you here tonight is from David Lee Roth. He says, quote, I think when you hear Mr. Van Halen playing, you'll have an idea. It's a shadow of where Eddie and Alex are now. There's a sense of humor in there, a lot of technique, and a whole lot of beer.
The best part about so much slits. The best part about not that quote, but the quote before that Eddie gave, the takeaway I got from that was, oh, Eddie Van Halen did not like mariachi bands. He was so against them. He hated them.
Get the fuck out of my face with that giant guitar.
Yes, it's like, well, those stupid, they bother you at the restaurant, like mariachi band. You don't like mariachi? Okay.
That's not a thing we have in Canada, so I can't relate. Do they have that in your neck of the woods there, Mark and Kelsey?
They don't do it in front of you unless it's your birthday and you actually tell them that there's a birthday at the table. Then, depending on the restaurant and depending on the people, they'll decide whether they want to bring out a full-on mariachi. But I have, to this date, never gone to a restaurant, any Mexican restaurant, where the mariachi band has just come up and just plays like right in your face like that. No, that doesn't happen. Well, at least not in my neck of the woods.
Okay, well, consider yourselves lucky, because in Canada, if it's your birthday, a Stompin' Tom Connors tribute artist comes up and sings the good old hockey game at your table and won't leave until he gets through all 3 periods. It's terrible.
That sounds awful. So, all right, fair enough. Do not visit Canada on my birthday.
Nope, do not do it. Jeff Brewer, welcome to the chat. Jeff says Al probably played brushes when he sat in with his dad's band when he was a teen. Absolutely, he did. He's playing jazz. He's playing with brushes. So,
all right. I really like the production on this too. I was going to make a comment on that too, because this is Templeman and Landee still, right?
Yep.
In charge of Darby Down, yeah. Mm-hmm. So you get that. It feels like a really small room. Like it's like a really tight, flat reverb they've got on there, which gets you that sort of that 20s sound. Mm-hmm. So it's really, really well recorded. And I bet you that's all room. I don't think there's any reverb added in the mix after that. I bet you that's really natural. I think it sounds really cool.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, it just, you hear the space like of the room, which works. Absolutely works.
I would love to be in that session. I bet it was so fun.
It sounds like a blast, doesn't it? Like everyone's just having a good time.
To watch. Like, I think it would have been so cool just to see. Like, granted, I know they weren't super thrilled about recording this album, so like to watch this, I bet they were like actually having a really good time.
Absolutely, yep. All right, let's finish this one out here.
That Bill don't fight anymore. No, he don't. He's doing the dishes and mopping up that floor. Yes, he is. Well, he used to go out drinking, looking for a fight. Now I gotta see that sweet woman every night. Big bad Billy, sweet William now. Doing the dishes. Big bad Billy, sweet William now. Mopping up that floor. Big bad Billy, sweet William now.
Yeah.
Well, you can't be Big Bad Bill all the time. Eventually, you just got to settle down with the right lady and be Sweet Willie.
Bop, zippity bop.
And do the dishes. And remember to do the dishes. Mop the floor. Zippity bop, mop the floor. There we go.
I'm surprised he didn't throw that in there. That sounds very Dave.
You can tell that he wanted to.
Yeah, no, he was almost there.
Maybe it was like Simple Man.
Gotta restrain myself.
Don't do that. Try it without that.
Save that for my EP. It's coming out in a few years. I'll put it all over just a gigolo. Zippity boppity bop. Bop.
Like, man, when I go solo, I'm gonna scat my heart out. Yeah. Like, okay, you do that, Dave.
Release a video of me dancing in my room.
2024, I'm gonna release videos of 80-year-old me just dancing around doing shit.
And I wonder if the people around him
highlight
like,
my day. I'm not gonna lie.
The people around him back then were like, 2024, you ain't making it to 2024.
Yeah, no,
and then when no one gives a fuck, I'm gonna start ragging on Eddie's kid. Why not? I'll just start.
Seriously.
It's like his kid. Okay, Dave. It's like, I'm just kidding. I'd never do that. Oof. We're in the darkest timeline. But anyway, Big Bad Bill, an off-brand sort of Van Halen tune, if you will. Now, one can't help but wonder that if this particular kind of tune was done and recorded during the Hagar era, I can already hear the boos from the crowd. I wonder how the pro Davers are going to vote this way, because, as you say, this is not your atypical Van Halen song by a long shot. It's not to mention it's a cover, but just the fact that it is in the style that it is. I'd be very curious to see how the voting goes.
Well, why don't we try and guess? We don't usually do this. Let's lift this from a podcast I listened to. I don't remember the name of it. A couple of jackasses on it, but they try and guess every week, and one of them is really, really bad at it. He always gets it wrong. And the one who knows nothing about the band gets it right every week. So why don't we try and guess what we think the audience vote is going to be on Big Bad Bill? What do you think, Mark? What do you think is going to be?
Like as far as percentage goes?
Yeah.
I think this one probably gets a 75%. What Dreams Are Made Of.
That's pretty good guess. That's what Happy Trails got. Yeah. And that's what I was going to say. I'm going to go a little higher. I'm going to say 78. I think the whole their dad is playing out the clarinet's fucking killer. But I think it's definitely going to be What Dreams Are Made Of. I'm going to say 78%. I'll go 3 above you. Kelsey, what do you think? The audience vote on this one. What do you think the percentage of upvotes is going to be?
I was going to say like low 80s. I could see like an 81 maybe, but who knows? I mean, I was just thinking about what you said. Like, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Sammy, but he could not pull this off. So I think Dave being Dave and having the like Roma he has, I think it just makes it, but I could see like a low 80.
Kevin Brown, you're really bad at this game when it comes to Queen. Let's see if you get any closer on Van Halen. What do you think the audience score is going to be?
I think you'd be surprised. I think it's going to come back about 85-ish, honestly.
Really?
I think, it depends, all right? If you're thinking about it in the context of Van Halen's catalog and how much you love that era, maybe not. But if you're just judging it on the song alone, I don't know what you're criticizing really in this song, in the execution of this style of music. So I'll go 85.
Okay.
You also take into account how the voting usually goes, and we have the luxury of we've been doing it for so long and we've recognized certain patterns that we're just like, I have a feeling. I might have said, I actually was close to doing what Kelsey did, which was low 80s, and I thought, no, for this one I'm guessing it's probably going to be higher 70s, but I could be wrong. And also wasn't suggesting, just to be clear, Sammy Hagar could sing this and do a good job with it, because I don't think he could have. I was simply saying if they did a song that was like this in that era, I think people automatically be like, boo, hiss, nada. And I know that because, well, they tried a blues song and it didn't work for Sammy.
Did not go well.
Did not go well.
Yeah.
So that's all I mean by that. No, I would not have enjoyed hearing Sammy try this out. That being said, now I throw it over to you, Kelsey. We're going to start with you because you're our honored guest. You joined on the show. You were the last one to join, so we're going to start with you because that's just how it works, because them's how we makes the rules. Is Big Bad Bill for you What Dreams Are Made Of, or is the dream over?
I think you guys are right. Like this style of music that they really pulled it off, and obviously like Van Halen can do anything. So, but I think this is great, and I love that they had their dad as part of he's now in their discography, and yeah, I think it's a cute little song, and like I said, I think David sounds sexy as hell on it, so it's good for me.
Hey, that's it. If them's the criterias, then that's all it needs to be. So yeah, that if it works for you that way, then no knocking it. It sometimes that's just the way it goes. Kevin Brown, is the way it goes for you with Big Bad Bill What Dreams Are Made Of, or is the dream over?
Every time I come on and we play that song, I just want to that's what I just want to listen to that song again. I mean, perfectly executed. I think it's great to see a band branch out. Like I always like it, and on a fairly thin album, which I think Dive Down is, it stands out for me as something a bit fun and a bit different. And I also love songs like Bring Back That Leroy Brown, Seaside Rendezvous, Good Company by Queen, which are in the same vein. It's that little vaudeville thing. I think it just, for me, it makes me happy. They're grin songs, right? They make me grin. So yeah, I love it.
There you go. If it makes you grins, then it wins. Corey Morissette, you are notably a very big hater of this album as well, kind of like Kevin Brown. You despise Diver Down so hard. I'm kidding. Actually, no. You and I are a lot more keen on Diver Down than I think most of our listeners are. So with that all in mind, and then we spin this one, and it's a very, very off track sort of Van Halen feel. So for you, is it What Dreams Are Made Of, or is the dream over?
It's just fun. Like I listen to Van Halen to have fun, whether they're doing surf rock or party rock or stuff like this. It's a cool little shuffle. Normally I don't listen to a lot of like Louis Armstrong or Cab Calloway, but they do that just as well as Louis Armstrong and Cab Calloway. It's a great little tune. I love how lyrically it's about, Big Bad Bill, but he's kind of been domesticated by this lady, and Dave's throwing these little things at the end, like do the dishes, mop the floor, and stuff like that. That was cute. I really dig that. And just the fact we have two generations of Van Halen. Van Halen's playing on this. There's no, you can downvote this, is there? I mean, come on. This has got to be What Dreams Are Made Of. So Mark Meyer, that just leaves you. And I know Tom was asking Mark if the solo actually saved the song for you. Because you seem kind of on the fence during the whole thing, but did the solo save the song? Let's find out now. Mark Meyer, for you, is this What Dreams Are Made Of, or is the dream over?
Sidebar, you should listen to more Cab Calloway. It's good stuff.
Oh yeah,
You should. Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, like so
that's part of the Blues Brothers, right?
Yes,
Minnie the Moocher,
among many things. Yeah, he's in Blues Brothers. The thing is, this isn't like a huge upvote for me because again, I don't know, like it's not one that I can see myself frequently throwing on when I'm listening to Van Halen. You know what I mean? Even with Diver Down, could I see myself listening to this song like once and going, okay, cool, I don't need to listen to that for quite some time. Maybe I'll surprise myself one day and the shuffle will present it, and maybe I'll skip it, maybe I won't. I don't know. It depends on the day. But as all of you said, to downvote it because it's like not my Van Halen. To downvote it would just feel like a lie because it is fun. It's it's a little happy-go-lucky little jingle. It's not a rag. It's just I don't think this would be considered a rag. It's just, it's just one of those like old-timey jazzy things, and I really like the idea that Eddie and Alex's dad is playing on this, and he sounds great. So the clarinet sounds great on this, and it just really put me into that old mindset, that old feel. I felt like we were listening to old school radio, just sitting around before there were podcasts. There were only radio shows where they're sitting by the radio like, boy, I can't wait to hear whatever they're going to play next. We don't know. We don't have a clue. We live by the radio. Before television, it was called radio. That's what it made me feel like. And is it the norm for Van Halen? Absolutely not. Do they pull it off? I think so. Despite the fact that it's a Judy Garland song, Dave gave it his best Louis Armstrong impression, and honestly, it did fit. As much as I wanted to be like, this is dumb, I don't know what, like, it's silly, this is really stupid of a song, like, no, it's just fun. It really is fun. So I can't downvote it in that regard. That being said, like, I don't know when the next time I'll ever willingly on purpose listen to it again. But if it does, like I said, if it pops up in the shuffle, will I turn it? Probably not, because it's like, ooh, I want to have like a feel good moment right here. Let me listen to Big Bad Bill. So in that regard, it is for me What Dreams Are Made Of. And no, Tom, the song did not need saving by the solo. Actually, it was consistent all the way around. In fact, the solo just enhanced it, and I was already going to vote yes. So there you go. And that one's for you, Sean McGinnity.
All right, and that music can only mean one thing. We're not playing this game this week because I never played it live.
Period.
I knew it. I was gonna win because I was literally gonna say they played this zero times live.
Yeah, they're gonna get out there with the big mariachi bass and everything and play. No, they're not gonna do that one. Tom said something intriguing in the chat. He says, "I think that if you look at could this be magic? Once you get to this song, it fits." He's gonna expand maybe in a manifesto. So there's your added incentive to join the Discord server and find out what Tom's thinking about. Could this be magic?
That's true.
And,
Well, now you got me intrigued. Cool. So you either do it or you don't, and I'm looking forward to your manifesto there, Tom. So do not to disappoint me. Big Bad Bill, another one off the list, and another album diver down to be precise. So more live shows on the way, Corey. We are making progress, and yet we're giving ourselves more stuff to do. So as hard as this wheel is trying to end the journey, not quite yet. We got so much more to talk about. As you mentioned before, the next live show, when we do it, we are covering For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge,
that's
a personal favorite. That is good. Yeah, that's going to be a really, really exciting one.
Love that
for me, the ranking is going to be a little bit difficult in the beginning and the top end. Yeah, those are going to be difficult. The last bit, probably not. Like, I think I know which two songs are gonna go at the end.
Right.
One of them's probably not the one you think, but that one's gonna be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. So be on the lookout, everybody, when we get to that. Big thank you to our honored guests, our honored panelists, Kevin Brown and Kelsey Van Halen. You guys, it's always a treat when you guys come in with your insights and your knowledge. And for me personally, it's just really fun to watch Kevin and Corey bust each other's balls. So, but thank you, Kelsey and Kevin, for showing up.
Ladies first.
Thanks. You're welcome. No, thank you for having me. I always have a good time on here. Yeah, it's always I love getting on here, and I'm glad I'm getting a chance to be on here a few times before you guys are I guess done with the Van Halen discography. So it's always a blast, and I'm glad I got to join Kevin. I love your accent.
It's fake. He's from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
He does it to help our ratings.
That's right.
Hey, fair. Listen, it's working.
Well, he's like, if I'm gonna do a Queen show, I should probably sound a little bit like him, just a little. Like, I get it. I get the angle. It's fun. Yeah.
Well, it was.
My accent's a train wreck. I've lived in so many different places, my accent's all over the place.
Liverpudlian bastard.
He switches to a weird Floridian accent when he does his Tom Petty podcast. It's weird.
It's weird, isn't it? Like, yeah.
I don't know why he does that. It's crazy.
I tell you what, it was a real pleasure having one of you here. And Kevin was also here. Kevin, why don't you tell the folks what you got going on when you're not neglecting your family?
Yeah. Well, what I got going on is a continual battle with Corey Morissette on the Ultimate Catalog Clash. It's just like boxing every week. I love it. We're just starting off season 3. And I think we can tell people, Corey, because most people have had a chance to listen now. We're covering the first 20 years of Foo Fighters.
That's right.
So that's 8 albums from Foo Fighters up to Sonic Highways is what we're covering. Yep. I got my Tom Petty Project podcast, which is coming up on 175 episodes or something like. And Queen's Seaside Pod Review. I wanted to just quickly tell you, though, just on a finish on one thing on this song, too. Listen to Ry Cooder's version of this song if you get a chance.
Okay.
Because Ry Cooder, first off, is a badass slide player, one of the best in the business.
Yep.
But he did it with a jazz orchestra, and it's fantastic. So give it a listen. But more than anything else, join the Patreon. Support these boys with what they're doing. They've given us a lot of joy over the years now in all these episodes. So just throw a few shackles their way, because it's not expensive, and it's a good way to keep indie podcasts going.
Well, and you'd have some say in how we're going to continue on, because Mark and I have been talking, like, actually one of our patrons had a great idea for the next season. Maybe we could talk about it a bit here, in that because Sammy has such a huge discography, and Dave's got 6-7 songs and Extreme, all that stuff. So each week on the Patreon, we're going to put up a poll, each season, which Sammy song should we put on the wheel? Which Sammy album should we put on the wheel? Which Dave album should we put on the wheel? Which Mammoth/Extreme song album should we put on the wheel? And the fourth album will be like a wild card. We'll pick like either one of the live records or maybe an inspirational record, like AC/DC Powerage was one of Eddie's favorite records. We'll put something like that in there. So yeah, our patrons get to vote on which songs for each season are going to be on that wheel, and then we'll have like 4 albums on there to cover. So the seasons will be a little bit shorter, not as short as Kevin's. He does 2 episodes, then a new season. He's currently just entered season 43 of the Seaside Pod Review, and he's only covered 10 songs.
Fucking help yourself, can you? You just
can't help yourself. Dumb. I don't know what the fuck you're thinking, you Liverpudlian.
The Brits and their episodic media, it's so weird. This is like 3 episodes of Sherlock, and that was it. And I was like, damn it, come on.
Another season finished. Let's go have tea. Fuck.
I like tea.
Damn, that's crazy.
It's like called not flogging a horse to death.
But one of the
you shouldn't be talking about flogging any sort of animals, my friend. But let's just leave it at that.
And one of the biggest reasons we love Kevin is because we bust his chops and he can take it. He loves it. He's a masochist for it.
He asked that I do it. Like he makes me do this. People hate me now because of how I treat Kevin.
He makes me do this. Oh God, Kevin, are you okay?
Goes,
actually,
make sure you make fun of my accent on this show.
You need somewhere to go. It's like I think Corey's
no kink shaming on here, Mark.
No kink. Yeah, no kink shaming.
No. I wasn't. Believe me, I'm not kink shaming. I was worried for your well-being because Corey's so abusive to you.
My safe word. We've got a safe word. It's place flat and bone is our safe word. So
You son of a bitch, Kelsey. Always a pleasure having you on here. Where can the people find you? What do you got going on?
Yeah, I probably the best place is Twitter or X, I guess. Kelsey Van Halen. That's where I talk the most about Van Halen and Van Halen, hockey, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Are you still a Wild fan?
Free. Am I still?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes, I am.
I don't know if you jumped off that bandwagon yet or not, but
no, I am committed. Those are my boys. Unfortunately, those are my boys.
Girl. Hey, I've been a Detroit Red Wing fan, so I feel your pain because for the last decade they've been dog shit.
What the fuck, dude?
They've been so bad.
Dude,
They've been so bad.
I cannot. But I don't even know if we're gonna make the playoffs this year. But whatever. But yeah, that's where I mostly just pop in. Like I think I just I just posted a picture of David like yesterday or today or something. But yeah, so that's where I talk. That's where I'm the most fun. So follow me on Twitter.
Can confirm. Lots of if you want random Van Halen picks at any random time, that's like follow Kelsey Van Halen. It will definitely happen there.
I know that you guys will appreciate it, so I'm like let me just drop this real quick.
Exactly. Yeah. There you have it. So you know the drill, you guys, and if you don't, I'll tell you. Here's the drill. I'm going to tell you. Go to podcastwillrock.com. You'll find all the backlog episodes that we've done. We like I said, we are nearing the finish line. We're not there yet, but we're nearing it. We're so close. We can see it. So all the episodes, if you're just joining us for the first time or you showed up halfway in between, I know we do have a few listeners that are getting caught up because they have only recently discovered the show. And to that, I say, thank you so much. Keep listening, and share if you want to. Share it with your people. Introduce them to the wonders of Van Halen through our eyes, if you will. So go to podcastforrock.com, find all the backlog episodes and all of the links to our socials, as well as the merch store. That's right. We got a merch store. Our very own Kevin Brown. We bust his chops a lot, but we appreciate him so much. Specifically, we appreciate his viewpoints on the band, as well as his artistic expertise, because many of the shirts in the merch store that you find are all done by Kevin. A lot of them are very inside joke based, so that if you listen to the show, you know, and the people that don't will look at you wearing your shirt and go, what in the hell does that even mean? And go, check out this show and you'll know.
You need a Dave's Temporary Sex Office t-shirt. Look at that. That's beautiful. Or who do I have to blow to get a Pulitzer?
That and please, for the love of God, keep growing the army of apologies to Gary shirt wearers, because it just makes my heart so happy knowing that there's so many of you out there, and I keep it growing so that he might be made aware and that he'll have no choice but to ask what the hell is going on with that. And you'll tell him, like, go check out this show, man. They want to talk to you. And we would. That would make my heart so happy to talk to Gary, to get him on the show, to get his perspective on things. Because I would be very curious to hear him talk about it, especially after all these years later. So do all of that. And while you're at it and you're browsing the internet, you know, you should check out why we, how we make such connections with awesome people like Kevin Brown, like Kelsey. We are part of the Deep Dive Podcasting Network. And if you like what we do, you might like a few other shows involved in the network. Corey, give it to them.
Oh, yes, sir. We got some great shows on the Deep Dive Podcasting Network, including The Ultimate Catalog Clash, featuring myself and Kevin Brown. That's right. Season 3 is the first 20 years of the Foo Fighters. That's going to be a hell of a lot of fun and a very long season, so join us for that. Kevin also does the Tom Petty Project, now talking about You did Last Dance with Mary Jane's Last Dance not that long ago, right? And Something in the Air, I imagine, is coming right away here.
Something in the Air is done as well. Yeah,
there you go.
Into Wildflowers.
Going into Wildflowers, very big album for Tom Petty. Can't wait for that. Kevin also does a show with his buddy Randy Woods called Seaside Pod Review. It's the 18th best Queen podcast on the web, so go check that out. Then we have Scott Haskett at Uriah Heep, the Magicians podcast. Nate and John at the Deep Purple podcast. The Simple Man at Skinnerd Reconsidered. Terry T-Bone Mathley at T-Bone's Prime Cuts. Rye at Sabbath Bloody Podcast. Paul, Joe, and David at In the Lap of the Pods. That one's wrapped up, but it's still a hell of a lot of fun. Check it out. Andy and Matt at Hawk Binge. Eric and Jonathan at Maiden A to Z. Daniel and Josh at Diary of the Madman, the Ultimate Aussie podcast. Ben and Sam at Universally Speaking, the Red Hot Chili Peppers podcast. George and Hattie at the Judas Priest cast. Clay and Rye at North by South podcast. Greg and Jonathan at So Far, So Pod, So What, talking all things Megadeth. Quinn at Volume for All. Sav, Nick, Steve, and Mark at the Rock Roulette podcast. Then we have the Chaz-tastic universe of podcasts. Chaz and Greg at Regarding Lulu. Chaz and Shats at Rush Rash. Chaz and Wolfie at Regarding Roger Waters, and coming soon in just a few months, Chaz and Scott Monroe regarding Van Halen 3. You won't want to miss that one. And then we have our friends at the Rewind to 1984 podcast, Sean Geek and Fast Fred podcast, the DLR cast, the Bogus Soda Show, Booked on Rock with the legendary Eric Senich. Did a great show on an AC/DC author that some asswipe thought he would get out there and say, oh, he's not a real expert. He's yeah, fuck off. Go eat a bag of dicks. It's a great book and a great show. Check it out. Then you have You're All Doomed, a Friday the 13th podcast, Spinning the Wheel podcast. That's a George Michael show. That's a lot of fun. Then we have Dissect That Film, Three's Company 2, a rewatch podcast, and of course, Pot of Thunder, the recognized symbol of excellence in rock and roll podcasting.
So many podcasts, so little time. But if you enjoy spending your time listening to podcasts and listening to podcasts about your favorite bands, this is the network you need to check out. We've got all of your needs met. Or does Corey have to go through that list again?
I'll do it.
He'll do
Motherfucker,
it.
I still got Panama playing here.
Exactly. Any excuse to keep Panama playing and, just to talk a little bit over it. Yeah, there it is. Awesome stuff, you guys. And by the way, just so we're very clear, because I have to mention every show, Corey and I, and by extension, Kevin and Kelsey, maybe more so them than us, but we're not experts on Van Halen. We're not rock historians. We're just simple, humble fans talking about a band that we like. So every once in a while, it's not often, big sarcasm, but every once in a while we get things wrong, or we just speculate about certain events and how they transpired. You know why? Because we weren't there. We weren't there in the room, and the books written about it are only so specific in the details, so we can only gauge what information we are given. So bear that in mind. We are simple fans going through the catalog, rediscovering the band, going through this journey as fans, not experts. It's a very important distinction. So we never once claimed to be experts, and we never will. Even when this show is done, we still won't be experts, not at all. So I think I'm legally obligated to mention all of that. So there it is, just to keep it on brand. So thank you so much, Kelsey. Thank you so much, Kevin. On behalf of Corey and myself, to all of you, pleasant dreams, pleasant evenings. We are, and the podcast will rock, and we will rock you later.